This is the Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post. In this segment, we summarize the headlines that you may have missed this morning. And we also take a look at the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 20th of May, 2022, and I am DK.
I am Miss Pope.
And I am GK. In case you missed the headlines, here they are.
Yeah.
The Daily Nation, Rigathi versus Karua. The Standard, Battle of the Running Mates. The Star, Ruto's big battle to undo Karua factor in Central. And finally, the People Daily, will he run? IBC to decide. DK,
Yes.
what do you have to tell us today?
Today I have submissions, but before we do these submissions, do you remember the children that were tear gassed
Oh,
at the Langata Road Primary School?
terrible sight to
Yeah.
see.
Around
Terrible
7
sight
to 8
see.
years ago. You know those kids? Half of them will be voting this year.
By the way,
Half of them will be voting
I
this
wonder who they're voting for.
I wonder who they're voting for. That aside, today my submissions are inspired by Equity Bank and also a friend of mine called Charles Onyango Obo from Uganda. This qualified friend of mine said this: Equity Bank Group, which is Kenya's largest bank by assets, made 40 billion Kenya shillings, which is equivalent to 1.2 trillion Uganda shillings in profits in just 2021. Then he says he just read a Ugandan economist remark that that's, now quoting Equity's profit, was more than the entire profit of the Ugandan banking sector
Whoa, okay.
in the same year. Then he finished by saying, And this gentleman and lady took me back to history and led me to 1972 Uganda.
Very dark time.
And to this I have a hypothesis today,
Okay.
and here it is. If William Ruto becomes president, Kenya will become like Uganda under Idi Amin Dada.
Wow.
Allow me to explore this thought.
Okay.
In 1972, Idi Amin Dada woke up one day, issued a 90 days ultimatum that ordered the expulsion of all Indians from Uganda.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some even came to Kenya.
It's 2,500 of them came to
Yeah.
Kenya. This was not only bizarre, it was foolish, and I think he was a fool. So apologies to Ugandans. And above all, a move towards economic suicide.
Uganda will be independent after this, my decision, after I want to see that the whole Kampala street is not full of Indians. It must be proper black and administration in those shops is run by the Uganda.
Amin dispossessed Indian property, such as shops, and distributed them to Ugandan hustlers and his friends. And the hustlers were very, very happy to be given free shops and free things that they did not work for. But what followed after that was a disaster.
Absolutely.
Majority of those businesses given to black Ugandans collapsed within the first 3 months. This was because Ugandans were illiterate in matters business compared to the previous
Indians.
owners who were Indians.
Yeah.
For instance, one Ugandan hustler who took over a clothing shop would sell clothes not using the price tag,
What?
but using the size of the cloth. Say, for
Wow.
instance, if a shirt is size 5, yeah, the bastard will sell it for 5 Ugandan
God.
shillings. Now, if you convert that to Kenyan shillings, it cents. 50 years later, Uganda has never recovered from this Idi Amin blunder. Today, those who celebrated Idi Amin's expulsion of Indians are still poor, and their generations are even poorer. And that is why Onyango Obo, my friend, is telling us that put together, Ugandan banking sector, including SACCOs and chamas for ladies, cannot match one Kenyan bank in terms of profit within 1 year. And here lies a lesson for Africans who are clapping for Deputy President William Ruto. Ruto's bottoms-up economics, hustler versus dynasty manenos, mama mboga and boda boda stories are created in the image of Idi Amin Dada. And because Gema has become the theater of Ruto's cartoon economics, I have a question for the House of Mombi today. Who owns the shops along Muranga Road, Grogan, River Road, Accra Road, Nairobi Textiles, Kamukonji and Mudhurwa Markets? In other words, I am asking you, Gema people, what is the difference between your shops and those that were owned by Indians in 1972 Uganda? My point here is very simple, and it's this. Just like Idi Amin, William Ruto is antagonizing the haves, aka Kikuyus,
Absolutely.
with those who want to have. But because he visits you, Kema people, on Sunday, you are blinded. The real motive, going back to Idi Amin, of fixing Indians was that he knew that if a rebellion against him came, the Indians could have financed it. In the same breath, Ruto knows that if he was to become president, the people who can start and finance a rebellion against him are the people with money, otherwise known as Kikuyus. And therefore, he must fix them. He will not send people to come and take over their businesses like Idi Amin. But what I think is that he will castrate and nyonga their business channels. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just a hypothesis. I could be wrong. Or am I?
Are you?
Are you?
We wonder.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, the 2022 election was won early this week when Raila Odinga announced Martha Karua as his running mate.
Yes.
All that's left on the 9th of August are mere formalities. And here is why. First, we have it in electoral record history that with or without Kalonzo, Baba is 44% strong.
Remove
we know
any
this.
of them, he'll be 44% strong.
Exactly. And so all he needs is 7% to make it to the 50% plus one threshold. Ruto's electoral history, on the other hand, is still premature,
Still loading.
other than his Kalenjin stronghold. Raila's winning formula was to add Martha Karua to bring in a new dynamic to his campaign. One, that she is a woman, and two, that she is Gema. History has shown that where there are two Gema candidates, the vote splits 70-30. And in this case, the two candidates are Gachagua and Karua.
Yep.
Which means even if Ruto gets 70% of the Gema vote, which is highly unlikely,
I don't think so.
given the shift that has been taking place, Martha Karua can definitely marshal at least 7%
Just 7%.
of the of the Gema vote. Anything more is
It's a
just
bonus. Yeah.
Yes, it's a bonus. In addition, Martha is what country needs in a succession election. We know that succession elections always attract a crisis
Yes.
because of regime change. We can expect a petition to be filed or even an election to be nullified.
That's happened before.
Exactly. But should any of these things happen, the Rarua ticket will steer the country forward rather than on its knees. This is because, should there be a crisis, Martha embodies the spirit of the country.
Yeah.
She is not only a warrior, she is principled. She will put country first, as she has been known to stand her ground in matters country. And as was said this week, not only does the message matter, but the messenger matters as well.
Absolutely.
And Martha is no nonsense.
Mwambie aifanye. Kama uko na pesa, badala ya kutuma vijana, ingia wewe. Kuja unipokonye microphone.
Furthermore, one of the qualities of a good general, according to Robert Greene, is to have a cool head, which receives exact impressions of things, which never gets heated, which never allows itself to be dazzled or intoxicated by good or bad news. And this is the true essence of Martha Karua. Another winning formula is that the Azimio coalition has given concrete strategic positions to the different ethnic blocs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was excited by the Joho.
Exactly, position. And so by already confirming that treasury or Kibeti belongs to the Luya nation is a sure way of consolidating his 44%. And even with Kalonzo bolting, the chief prime minister seat is promised to the Kambas. This is in stark contrast to UDA's ultimatum where they promised the Luya nation 30% of government should they deliver 70% of the vote. A feat Mudavadi has never attained even when he was running for president. Either way, whoever forms government, whoever forms the next government ought to remember that you can never please everybody. He who aims to please everybody will end up pleasing nobody.
Wow.
Sure.
So
Question.
August 9th will be just formalities.
Exactly.
I won't even post that question. We're talking about 44%.
Yes.
And you know, guys, when you want to enter Kikuyu mainland, you start at Githurai and Githurai 44. So Baba is already
44% strong.
he's in Githurai.
That's a good one.
You know, I would like to continue on the breath of Miss Pope.
Yeah.
Earlier this week, the former American president, George W. Bush, was giving a lecture and commented on the Russian invasion of Ukraine. In the speech, President Bush was supposed to be condemning the war, but instead, he made a big mistake. Anyways, don't ask me, here's the clip.
In contrast, Russian elections are rigged. Political opponents are imprisoned or otherwise eliminated from participating in the electoral process. The result is an absence of checks and balances in Russia and the decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of of Ukraine. Iraq, too. Anyway.
That, my friends, is what you call a Freudian slip. Now, for those of you who do not know, a Freudian slip is an unintentional mistake that reveals an individual's subconscious feelings. In this case, it suggests that President Bush did not believe his invasion of Iraq in the early 2000s, where thousands of American soldiers and hundreds of thousands of Iraqis were killed, was entirely justified. This gave me a random thought. Is the Gema nation behaving like George Bush?
How?
They have loudly been screaming, Ruto, 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 but the actions reveal something to the complete contrary. Has Gema begun to reveal to us their subconscious feelings with regards to this coming 2022 election? Remember, when BBI was still breathing, Gema leaders screamed about how the BBI was bad. But when the MCAs were asked to vote, only 4 voted against it.
Yeah.
This shows that Gema wanted BBI and the 54 billion shilling inheritance that was going to come along with it. After Martha Karua was named as the running mate for Raila Odinga, they showed their true colors once again. In just 3 days, she has attended more than 30 campaign gatherings. 30.
Yes.
Almost all of which have been in the Gema region. And the reaction has been euphoric towards our Iron Mama. It has shown us that Gema does not actually think Raila is bad. In fact, it shows that Gema is loyal to nobody but their own.
But their own.
They only needed a leader of their own that they could rally behind.
That's true.
But this leader could not be just anybody.
Yes.
The Martha magic is that she hails from a small, non-threatening Kikuyu sub-tribe, which works to diffuse the idea that the presidency was now supposed to head to Muranga after having passed through Kiambu with the Kenyatas and Nyeri with Kibaki.
Yes.
And I have another very random thought. Perhaps it was not at all random that Uhuru's chair was brought to the Raila running mate announcement and then removed from the stage. This is because Uhuru has taken the ultimate backseat.
Yeah.
He knows that by remaining at the forefront, some may use August 9th to do a protest vote.
Yeah.
Martha Wangari Karua will carry this mantle forward in central Kenya. In this
She
case,
is doing it.
yep,
already.
in this
She is doing
case,
it.
the battleground has already shifted.
Mm.
But ultimately, as Nassim Taleb tells us,
Mm.
no matter how sophisticated our choices, how good we are at dominating the odds,
Mm.
randomness will have the last word. So I ask,
Mm.
will 2022 be our most random election yet?
I don't know. But you talked about subconscious, and this one I will not let go.
Uh-huh.
You see, the Ruto Gachagua card,
Uh-huh.
when we're talking about subconscious feelings that Gema has had all this time,
Yeah.
I think Gachagua awakens those subconscious feelings about Molo evictions when he was Dio, Limuru, whatever was happening.
Yeah.
And that is what is aiding mothers raid on William Ruto's camp and
that
Central.
Long may that raid continue.
Yes.
So shall
So we have a three-part criteria that we use to judge the headlines for you. We ask ourselves these three questions. Is the headline topical or speculative? Is it repetitive or groundbreaking? And finally, is it thoughtful or just plain lazy? I'll reread the headlines for you. The Daily Nation, Rigathi versus Karua. The Standard, Battle of the Running Mates. The Star, Ruto's big battle to undo Karua factor in Central. And the People Daily, will he run? IBC to decide. So, I am quite inclined myself to the Star because it points to just how much the ground has shifted with just one announcement.
Yeah.
Martha Karua has really come and done a big
Haste.
job on Ruto's hands.
We should do a movie called Ruto Haste. How he's being shown dust inside the mountain. But anyway, I think also the others were lazy. And the People Daily should not even talk about Kalonzo. He should make up his mind and join the team that he wants to join.
Yeah.
But I would go with the Star because I think the Standard and the Daily Nation were lazy.
Okay,
Nothing
so
groundbreaking, yeah.
on the grounds of being lazy, DK kindly toss everything but the Star, which has our winning headline. Thank you so much for watching Winning Headlines today. Remember, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that like button. We're also on your TV screens. Find us on Pang, Free to Air, Go TV, and Star Times. I will conclude with a quote by, I don't know who it's by, but I'll tell you what it says. You cannot change what you refuse to confront. And we are confronting very seriously. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be here with you next time.